Okay, guys, by the time you see this video, it's probably going to be the day or the night after. It seems as if our dream of having Henry Cavill back is all but over. A record of 2 months. It's the second longest record that Henry Cavill has held coming back as the Man of Steel, and this time around it only lasted as a 10-second cameo appearance at the end of Black Adam and nothing more. Very heartbreaking. I said this in a DC video I made about the insanity that was happening last week, that if they did can Henry Cavill, it would be a hard pill to swallow, and it is. I cannot believe the amount of likes Henry Cavill's Instagram post about him not returning has gotten, which I'm going to throw up on the screen for you. You can find it on his Instagram, of course, and probably anywhere on the internet right now. And also his goodbye, or his goodbye as of right now, should not be read in my voice. It should be read in his voice. So you can go read that. I'm just so... It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's be honest here. The DC universe is being completely rebooted. Nothing we know from before is lasting. It is absolutely over. Ben Affleck's Batman is finished. We all know that Ezra Miller is not coming back. I made a video yesterday about what the future could hold for Wonder Woman, and I even said in that video that I think they would retain Gal Gadot. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think her days as Wonder Woman is over, and I guess that's the same for Henry Cavill. It's just insane. The rumors of a full-on reboot seem to be true. Yeah. I think we're in a situation right now where nothing is safe, and I don't think anything was safe before this, but this is different. I have Twitter open. I just retweeted Henry Cavill's goodbye on my Twitter, and I have James Gunn's Twitter open here, and I'm going to keep it open because I'm going to refresh it as this video goes along. I am speechless, but filled with thoughts all at the same time. I think a great way of putting this is I have so much I want to say, I just don't know how to articulate it right now. So let's give myself some time to chill out for a second, but while I chill out, I'm gonna read what James Gunn has said about his conversation with Henry Cavill. Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share more exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. Among those on the slate is Superman. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. But we just had a great meeting with Henry, and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. And a couple of people comment here, being part of the slate, I assume it's a movie. James Gunn responds with yes, and then someone else writes, are you writing/directing? And James Gunn responds, I am writing and have been for a while. We do not know who is directing yet. Then the last one, please tell me this isn't an origin movie. James Gunn says, no way. This is huge. That's wild. So they're not doing an origin story of Superman, but they are going to do it where he is younger. And I know Henry Cavill's not an old guy. He's 39, but his Superman is older. His Superman has been in the game for a longer amount of time. I can only imagine that what they're going to do is they're going to want to get somebody in their 20s, maybe mid-20s, possibly late 20s, I don't really know, but they're going to want to get somebody to play Superman who's going to be able to do it the way Robert Pattinson could do Batman. Once again, I don't even know what they're doing there. They might be recasting that. So I'm already seeing it on social media. It's to be expected. And I'm not going to get mad at James Gunn here. This man is being given an impossible task of taking the severely damaged DC universe and trying to make a universe out of it. James Gunn is coming into a situation at DC where you have a massive group of people begging for the Snyderverse to return. You have people who were trying to follow the Hamadaverse. You have people who just don't want to do anything in a connected universe and they want to make their own solidified stories. It's all over the place. He even tweeted this a couple days ago that unfortunately they are going to be making decisions that are going to make people upset. They will not be able to please everybody. Let's be honest here, though. This is a decision they've made that is going to make more than half of the DC fandom livid. And really, right now, I do not understand what the point is of these upcoming films. Shazam, The Flash, and Aquaman. Because I'm pretty sure, as of right now, the only person who will be returning to play a character in the new DCU is Jason Momoa. It is now looking like Jason Momoa is going to be coming back as Lobo and not Aquaman. That rumor starts to feel more real every day. It's funny how the stages of my thinking have changed. At first, the top stage, I thought it was, okay, keep the majority of the actors and actresses in their role, and then reboot the story, reboot the universe. But then as time went on, it went down a notch, and it was like, okay, maybe you reboot half of the actors and actresses, you reboot the story, and you put everything in Matt Reeves' Batman universe, and now that is the DC universe. But now I'm at another level of a full-on hardcore reboot. And now for these other projects, I don't know what's going to happen here. Earlier today, I saw a Variety article that talked about how James Gunn and Matt Reeves were discussing and merging the DCU into the Batman universe. And both Gunn and Reeves did end up debunking that rumor. So what's the plan with the Batman? Are they allowing this? Are they going to allow the Batman universe to be its own thing? Even though it was said a couple weeks ago, there will not be 4 Batmans. I don't know if it means this to you, but to me, the statement, there will not be 4 Batmans, does not mean there will be 2 Batmans. It's to definitively state there will only be 1 Batman. Making this decision was not done lightly. This is absolutely not an easy decision. They did it because it is going to be best for the future of their story. It is just so sad that it had to come to this point. I guess what is also now in jeopardy is The Rock as Black Adam. Any DC universe that The Rock was imagining is just not going to happen anymore. And I even wonder if he will retain his position as Black Adam. You know, now that they break news like this sporadically as I'm sitting on my couch watching Community, drinking a tea, I am now just ready to hear the plan of this DC universe. I'm impatient now, and I've been patient for years, but now I'm really impatient. I know I just have to hold on for a couple more weeks. We're almost in January. But I'm just dying to know what they're going to do here and how they're going to make us excited. Now it hit a big hit with Henry Cavill not returning. Recasting all of these characters is going to be hard. And I know we can sit here and say, oh, well, they've recasted characters before. Look at Batman. And here's my arguments with Batman. Batman is almost like a James Bond. You can recast Batman nearly as often as you like and get away with it. The selling point is the story and how the actor playing Batman responds to that story. The Dark Knight trilogy has a cult following, but Christian Bale doesn't really. He's got more fans than haters, but the changing of the guard within Batman is not felt as hard as it's going to be felt with Henry Cavill, because we don't really have a Batman actor that has been oh my God, no one can play him the way Ben Affleck has or Christian Bale has. With Henry Cavill, he doesn't just have the DC fandom behind him, he has pockets of other fandoms like Marvel or Star Wars, hell, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, who love Henry Cavill as Superman. Everybody loves this guy as Superman, and if you don't, that's fine, but you are in a vast minority. That's why the changing of the guard for Superman is going to be felt so heavily. I think it is super easy to throw out judgment right now, especially onto James Gunn. I think it's super easy to sit here and say, oh, screw James Gunn, fire him, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's ruining DC. Guys, come on. DC was ruined far beyond this point. And no, I'm not taking a shot at Zack Snyder. I'm taking a shot at every single executive that has been a part of DC Warner Brothers since Zack Snyder's run and after Zack Snyder's run. Okay, guys, I'm going to quickly interrupt here. That was the Tyrell of last night talking. Somebody who was just raw from what we got yesterday. Right now is the Tyrell of today. Someone who's had the night to sleep it over and to kind of see how the internet has responded to this brutal news. So after looking at the responses from everybody online, seeing the reactions of everybody, I know in this video, as you've been watching me, I said I wasn't going to be mad at James Gunn, and I'm not going to be. I am going to be upset about this situation because it is upsetting, although I'm going to question James Gunn. I think that is completely fair and within the rights of being a fan of Superman and DC Comics right now. I mean, there has been a ton of Twitter beef lately and a ton of sources that have said James Gunn does not like Henry Cavill. And even though James Gunn has responded online that that is not true, one has to wonder now that if there is truth behind it. James Gunn is very interactive online with fans and scoopers and leakers and rumors and you name it. James Gunn does lie sometimes on his Twitter. Sometimes he has to lie because he doesn't want you to get the bigger picture of things until that bigger picture has been released to the public. I gotta be honest with you, the more I'm thinking about it now, that whole situation about Reeves and Gunn having a conversation to mix Batman into the DCU, at one point I was like, oh, well, yeah, they debunked it on Twitter. I don't think so anymore. I think that is a lie. I think they 100% are considering Robert Pattinson and the DCU. I think that is a thing. It just makes complete sense. And I don't see any other way around this because the last thing you can do is just start canning everybody unless you want to be that ruthless. This is going to be felt now, tomorrow, 3 weeks from now, and 3 years from now. This is not going to go away anytime soon. People are not going to forget this. The future Superman has huge shoes to fill, and that's why I'm starting to feel like it was not the best of options to do this. I understand that the future Superman movie, they want him to be a little bit younger. I'm just looking at technology nowadays, and look how good some of these deep fakes are. Like, have you guys seen what Indiana Jones looks like in the new trailer? Harrison Ford as basically a 30-year-old man. It's just insane what they're doing. There's no reason why they couldn't do that. I mean, maybe it's not cost efficient if you're doing that to Henry Cavill for a 2.5-hour film, but this just seems a little more unnecessary than necessary. Henry Cavill was done a disservice as this character, and he sure was screwed over by Warner Brothers management. How do you tell a guy to announce his return, then hire a new CEO, and 2 months later have that CEO say, bye, Henry Cavill? It's just a mess. It's not organized well, and even though I still have hope that James Gunn is going to do something good and grand here, it's just not a good look in general. As if DC hasn't already done things that have made us look at them and be like, what in the world are you doing? This is huge. When I look at the Twitter response that James Gunn put up about his conversation and meeting with Henry Cavill, and then Henry Cavill's message on Instagram, it is not the same message. It is not in the same emotional spectrum either. James Gunn's feels more like, yeah, we had a great conversation, can't wait for future possibilities. Pfft, never gonna have those possibilities. That's how that felt. It basically felt like a lie. Like, yeah, we've talked about future possibilities of him as the character, but when you read Henry Cavill's response, you pretty much get the feeling that in that meeting, James Gunn was basically like, hey, buddy, yeah, sorry, you're out. Peace. I don't really know if those future possibilities are real at all. And as I was on Twitter scrolling, I saw a response from Rob Liefeld. And if you don't know who that is, he is the creator of Deadpool for Marvel and many other X-Men creations. I thought his response to the canning of Henry Cavill is actually the best way to put the situation that Gunn, DC, and Warner Brothers finds themselves in. Let me read it for you here. As I've stated many times, Superman is my favorite DC character and one of my favorite characters in all of comic books and pop culture. Henry Cavill's presence over the character will loom larger as time passes. A colossal fumble in utilizing an amazing talent. Yeah, pretty much. There's really no more I can say about that. There's no point in me diving into that tweet and dissecting it because it is simple as that. Now, maybe there's no point in me doing this, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm now going to bring it back to the Tyrell of the past from yesterday, where he explains the positivity that could come from this regarding Henry Cavill. I don't know if there's any point in being positive, but you know what? It's the best I can do for you guys watching me and for myself. So here you go. Now, there is one last little bit of hope I want to throw in this video, and hope being the key structure to the Superman character, so I think it is fitting. And there's no guarantee this happens. I just would kind of like to shed some decent light on this situation, maybe to kind of get people a little more out of the slump that they may feel they're in right now with the loss of Henry Cavill as Superman. What I'm going to do is open up the possibility of what if he returns as Superman. He could return as Superman as an older Superman. When James Gunn became in charge of DC, he posted a photo of Kingdom Come Superman at the Justice League table with all the superheroes around him, and he captioned it, "Let's get to work." That could literally mean nothing. That could just simply be him telling, hey, we're at a table right now talking DC superheroes and comic books. Or with all the discussion that DC has had over the past couple of years about doing the multiverse as well, there's a possibility that maybe in the near future or in the future somewhere, we could get a Kingdom Come storyline where Henry Cavill returns as Superman. If this new Superman movie they are making is dealing with a younger Superman, maybe this isn't the end for Henry Cavill. Maybe Henry Cavill will be coming back as an older Superman for this younger Superman they're currently making. I know, as crazy as that might sound and maybe as overly positive as that might sound, I would never say never to Henry Cavill coming back as the Man of Steel. Even James Gunn himself knows how much he is loved as that character. Oh, but that's that. That is that. Really can't wait for January. Gonna have to see what happens. But you let me know in the comments below, guys, how insane is this? How crazy does it feel to be a DC fan? And how sad are you that this is happening? Also, what do you think is in store for Superman? I might make a video about this within the next couple of days, talking about some ideas. But that's it for this one, guys. So until next time, I'll talk to you all very soon.